World. So yeah, left off last time talking about how the main mode of operation in the kingdom of darkness is just to be anti-God, to be totally against, to totally go against God, to do everything the opposite of God. The Word of God, Colossians chapter 1 tells us about being translated from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. And I forget which Peter, but it talks about who has translated us, who has brought us out of darkness and put us into his marvelous light. Well, the first thing that we see displayed when Adam let us makes the statement of, I was afraid, when God came asking him, where are you? And he said, I was afraid, so I hid myself. Yeah. Now in Revelations, it talks about the different groupings of people that will have their part in the lake of fire. And now the first group that it talks about is the fearful. And we really think about it, that's the first thing that Adam displayed was being fearful. And he said, I hid myself. So he hid himself behind Satan's image. Now, okay, so now what I want to kind of talk about is how one of the things that the kingdom of darkness tries to do is display a what looks like a form of godliness, what looks like light just enough to capture our attentions, thinking that this is God. And let's see here. Second Corinthians chapter 11 verse 14 says, and no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. Okay, now Second Timothy chapter 4 verse 5 chapter 3 verse 5 talks about having a form of godliness but denying its power have nothing to do with them. Where it tells you have nothing to do with them because of what it's talking about in verse 4. Now, okay, and then also I'm going to use this Isaiah chapter 64 verse 6. Verse 6, all of us have become like one who is unclean, and all our righteous acts are like filthy rags. We all shrivel up like a leaf, and like the wind our sins sweep us away. Now, in that having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof, that's about you trying to trying to look like God, trying to think that, well, he talks about the our righteousness being like filthy rags. That's like you trying to let's say you trying to put something together, and of course, and we talked about how in the darkness you can't see nothing, but you trying to put something together. First of all, you in the darkness, and then the instructions. You can't read the instructions because you can't see the instructions. But so you just think, if this feels like I'm just putting this together right, and it turns out that it's not, that's not the case.